Released by Atlus in 2000 on the original PlayStation, Persona 2 Eternal Punishment would be a direct sequel to Persona 2 Innocent Sin, taking place in an alternate reality a few years after the events of the first Persona game. Written and produced by Tadashi Satomi, who wrote the first two Persona games as well, the game would get a remake for the PlayStation Portable that would not release outside of Japan. For story, the game features a young woman named Maya, a magazine reporter, alongside 6 other party members, including returning characters Nanjo and Eriko from the first Persona and Tatsuya from the second Persona game, though only 5 characters can be fielded in battle at a time. For gameplay, most conventions such as exploration, dungeons, and demon recruitment would be the same as the second game, though players with a save file for the first part could transfer their save and carry over some data or receive bonuses. Most locations and characters would return in some way compared to the second game, especially utilizing a rumor system to guide how many facilities and decision points will go, and the PSP remake would add an additional side quest with a new character. The story only gets larger from here, so let's cut it down to size with a RECAPitation. As the game begins, it's late 1999 as we see Tatsuya Suo in red motorcycle gear, somehow remembering his friends and journey in another world, and the pain of the burden weighing heavily on him. Elsewhere, an old man leads something called the Ritual of Kododama, and at the same time, Maya Amano, editor for the popular teen magazine Coolest, is told by one of her photographers, Yukino, that a mysterious letter came for her. The letter is more of a strange warning from someone called Joker, as she is called in by her unlikable boss and told to investigate a recent series of murders done by Joker, starting with a scoop at Seven Sisters High School. Yukino is taken off the story, but she still tells her about an old friend and teacher there, and in the lobby, Maya is met by her friend Ulala, who was upset Maya is assigned to work extra long today. Eager for them both to go to a mixer party tonight, Ulala joins along and jabs at Maya, still thinking about the boy she bumped into once at the train station that she feels she has met before but never learned his name, calling him Deja Vu Boy. Arriving at Seven Sisters High, they visit Yukino's teacher friend, who is questioned by the police about their school's former track star turned delinquent Anna after a hit and run with an Atlus game designer and director of most of the Trauma Center series, Daisuke Kaneda. The police suspect her involvement with the recent murders, especially Sergeant Katsuya Suo. Before he leaves, the teacher, Miss Seiko, asks about one of her students and Katsuya's younger brother, Tatsuya, who has gone missing recently too. Maya meets with Seiko, who says an urban myth about Joker is all the rage these days, and supposedly, if you dial your own phone, Joker will answer and kill someone for you. As the offender's death is noted, they speak to history teacher Mr. Kashihara, who is a fan of the occult, joking he once wrote a book about a UFO being underneath the city. In the halls, some students think Joker is the serial killer from 10 years ago who was never caught and has returned with demons. Outside, they see hated Principal Hanya berating Anna publicly as Anna denies being the murderer. An underclassman named Noriko fiercely defends her as well, but Hanya just mocks Anna for no longer being useful to the school's reputation and leaves. Maya and Ulala agree to confront the principal on his behavior as Maya passes by a strangely familiar history teacher named Maya Okamura. Entering Hanya's office, they are shocked to discover his mutilated corpse just as Katsuya comes in as well and observes he too is holding a note in line with the recent murders. He begins to ask the girls questions when Anna arrives too, just as surprised, yet flees, and all three give chase. They are cut off by the surprise appearance of a demon in the school halls as a man with a paper sack over his head walks in, calling himself Joker and confessing to killing the principal. Bagman Joker says he took a request to kill them too and calls out Maya specifically, saying he not only knows her, but what she did on the other side. He challenges them to produce their persona, tossing Maya a pair of handguns he knows she should be able to use as Katsuya tries to arrest Joker. As Joker's demon knocks them down, a new power emerges from Katsuya in the form of the Greek Titan of the Sun, Helios, and Ulala produces the Greek Nymph of Beauty, Callisto. Maya produces her own persona, Maya, and together they defeat Joker's servant, and amused, Joker produces his own persona, Joker, and defeats the group easily. Unconscious, the group sees a shining butterfly and Maya sees glimpses and memories of the other side as a masked man named Philemon greets them. He says he brought them all here and is the one who gave them all personas, though currently appears very faint and weak. As he explains his realm and the source of power of their personas, he begins to fade while mentioning a string of misfortunes leading to this. He warns them rumors will start to become reality and something about the light within the hearts of people as the group wakes up, realizing that was no mere dream. Katsuya quickly calls in the murder as he suspects Anna called in the Joker hit and urges both ladies to stick by him for safety. Ulala wonders if the rumor of Joker is what made Joker real, like how Philemon warned, and Katsuya does not dismiss the notion, nor reject the new powers they gained. Pursuing Anna, they encounter demons who are not all that bad and want to help, as they find Joker confronting Anna in the school's clock tower. He tells her they are partners and urges her to remember the other side, claiming this side is the wrong one. He knocks her out and puts the group to sleep, but before he can kidnap Anna, Tatsuya appears to clash with him, and while Joker recognizes him, he gets away. Getting straight to the point, Tatsuya hands Maya a card for the Kuzunoa detective agency and tells her to go there and spread a rumor that anyone with a Seven Sisters emblem will be safe, even from Joker. He turns to leave, urging her not to get involved anymore and to forget everything as Katsuya's backup arrives. His superior officer, Captain Shimazu, also arrives, though takes control of the case and takes Katsuya off, calling him unqualified like his father. However, to Ulala and Maya, Katsuya refuses to drop the case until he arrests Joker. Heading to the detective agency, they meet a college student there named Tamaki, who is also a devil summoner, as is their chief, who says they don't normally spread rumors, but mentions Deja Vu Boy was in here earlier asking if the Joker rumor was spread as well. Curious to see if anti-rumors work as well, he agrees to help, as Tammy says Tatsuya was looking for the source of the rumors, observing how many Persona users there are, as there were at least 9 in her high school alone. She then shows him a website run by a friend of the chief, a man going by the handle Balfu, who has recorded every rumor in the city. They chat with him online and he's curious how they survived an attack from Joker, wanting to meet them in person. As they wait in the bar Parabellum, they comment on the recent celestial event where the planets aligned in a cross with Earth at its center called the Grand Cross that some people feared would be Armageddon, but it turned out nothing happened. As Balfu arrives, he senses their persona powers and understands now, revealing he is a persona user as well, wielding the Greek hero and king Odysseus. He explains the Joker rumors are coming from a TV show, but Joker himself seems to originate from Tatsuzo Sudo, the current foreign minister. The minister has a deep history of shady underground dealings, and rumor even has it the unsolved arson murder case a decade ago was done by his son. Regardless, the minister is involved with the recent incidents as well, and Balfu invites himself into the group, intent to learn the truth about Sudo's son and Joker. Maya accepts, and to test their claims, Balfu asks Todoroki to spread the rumor Parabellum also sells weapons, surprised to see it work after all. As such, he points out that if Maya holds onto the emblem the Deja Vu Boy gave her, Joker will just stay away, and understanding, she chooses to destroy it. Balfu knows where Sudo is, but guides them first to a special location called the Velvet Room, where they are greeted by a long-nosed man named Igor who explains their persona services per the order of Philemon and his associates, Belladonna, Nameless, and Demon Painter. Belladonna mentions a boy in here earlier, sad at an unfortunate tragedy, and Ulala recalls she once played the Persona game with Maya in high school, while Katsuya once played the same game with Tatsuya when they were young. Moving out, Balfu lays down the truth on most people's behavior online versus real life, Katsuya reveals he loves cats, and Ulala notes the Deja Vu Boy keeps appearing wherever they go. Sneaking into the sanitarium where Sudo is supposed to be, they find dead bodies torn apart by demons, and Balfu recognizes one of the men as a member of the Taiwanese mafia, Tian Dalian. He adds they are also working for Minister Tatsuzo, and Katsuya wonders why he would order an attack on his own son. Visiting Trish the greedy healing fairy, they find Sudo's room covered in writing and bizarre symbols everywhere. Katsuya notes pictures and a list of every victim so far, pinning Sudo as Joker, and Maya feels ill when she reads a prophecy called the Oracle of Maya on the wall. The Grand Cross event already came and went during summer uneventfully, but Maya suddenly drops as a sudden pain seizes her, and Ulala says this has been happening regularly since she met Deja Vu Boy. Heading to the main office, they find Tatsuya Sudo there himself, standing among fresh victims and asking Maya if she remembers the other side yet. He also confesses to the killings a decade ago, explaining the voices he heard demanded his victims be sacrifices and carved up in a specific way. He reveals the sources of his power as Kododama, wherein if you say something, it'll happen, and mentions his father did this to him. Balfu then looks outside, seeing a man with a scar trying to call one of the dead men inside, and upset he suddenly rushes outside. Sudo answers the phone, saying he killed the mafia men and will be coming for his father soon too, and confesses he used to kill for fun, but now gets to kill just because people call him and ask. He says again this side is wrong and he is working to right it, urging Maya to remember and inviting her to the Sky Museum as he gets away again. Hurrying to pursue, they meet a young counselor named Maki who not only senses they are Persona users like her, but senses Yukino's resonance on Maya, explaining she's a close friend who went to the same high school as her. Arriving at the Sky Museum, they see a class of school children here as well, which worries Katsuya, and Maya is approached by a high school senior named June who recognizes her from a time when she bumped into Deja Vu Boy at the train station. He also says he received a letter to come here and meet a friend but doesn't know who it's from. Suddenly, some firebombs go off, trapping them inside, as Sudo's voice cackles out that just like the other side, she needs to save the kids within by taking them to the roof. Katsuya quickly organizes a search and evacuation as Maya indeed finds something familiar about this, claiming to even hear a girl's voice, and on the roof Tatsuya Suo faces down Tatsuya Sudo, who has Jun in his grasp. Sudo tells Jun he's the real Joker and pushes Jun to remember so he can guide them once again. The group arrives and Katsuya is surprised to see his brother here, as is Maya to learn the Deja Vu boy's name is Tatsuya. Tatsuya Sudo is impatient for Maya to remember the other side, while Tatsuya Suo is quick to tell her to forget it. As the floor gives way under the group, Sudo is amused to see how inevitable destiny is in this familiar scenario. He moves to kill Maya now, but Jun punches him, causing him to fall down the hole instead. As Tatsuya knows how to escape this time, they take the museum's restaurant blimp made real by rumors it can fly, only this time Tatsuya takes the wheel to pilot them out safely. Also knowing where Sudo will be, Tatsuya quickly moves to confront him as Sudo has once again lost the same eye, sort of, questioning if this too is destiny. Tatsuya tells Sudo nothing is set in stone regardless of what a particular voice may have told him, and Sudo begins to laugh maniacally at the voices now flooding his head again. He clashes with the group and Tatsuya joins in, revealing his own persona, Apollo, and though they strike down the mad serial killer, Sudo shoots back. Fear has already spread to the point where Joker won't die. As the blimp begins to crash, however, Tatsuya already opens the escape route and lets his older brother escape first before answering any questions. Before jumping, Jun gives a lighter special to him to Tatsuya, saying he just feels he must, but Tatsuya replies he has nothing to give back in return. He then tells Maya there is still a chance and she must not remember if she wants to live a normal life, and pushes her away, staying behind to safely crash land the blimp in the sea. As the group recovers on the beach alongside the rescued kids, Katsuya shoots off several questions about Tatsuya and what is being called the other side. Baofu focuses instead on what Minister Tatsuzo was up to, regardless of if Joker is dead, and Katsuya agrees, though still reports on the death of Sudo. They split to continue the investigation, and at her job, Maya and her boss are met by Chizuru Ishigami, a famously accurate fortune teller of the popular Wanglong fortune-telling style. She observes a unique aura around Maya and in a TV interview states that Joker is actually anyone who uses the Joker curse, as they will become possessed by Joker. Meanwhile, Katsuya confronts Police Chief Togashi and Captain Shimazu as the Sudo incident is being covered up, and upon hearing more Joker murders are still occurring, declares they should be investigating Minister Tatsuzo. In response, Chief Togashi relieves Katsuya of active duty, and after he leaves, Captain Shimazu hands a man with a scar a record of everyone who is called the Joker, who notes Ulala is among them. Meanwhile, Ulala is eager to try and return to her normal life when she hears a new rumor spread that if you use the Joker game, you become a Joker yourself. As Baofu meets up with Maya, he hears of the rumors spread by Chizuru and the pseudo cover-up, concluding this is all the work of Tatsuzo's influence, and saying the minister just ordered a hit on someone. Meeting with Katsuya, he confirms the rumors are creating more Jokers, and worse yet, the police are compromised. Maya suddenly gets a distressing call from Ulala telling her to stay away as she is slowly changing into a monster, and Baofu figures she must have used the Joker curse at some point and the rumor is becoming real. They wonder who she could have wanted to kill and make the next victim, and Maya suddenly has a lucid vision of herself, Yukino, and Ulala, with some high schoolers, facing down Ulala's ex-fiancé who stole all of her money. She once again chalks it up to deja vu, but identifies the con artist, and as they look, they pass by Sumeru Prison where Maya meets the strangely familiar high schooler Eikichi and his girlfriend Miyabi working on his music band. They locate the scammer and find Ulala next in the gym she is often at to assure her everything is fine. However, as she turns around, Ulala has already been possessed by Joker, claiming Maya is the one she wants to kill, and reveals the power of the persona Joker somehow growing into a new form. Carefully, the group defeats Ulala, snapping her to her senses, and she apologizes, admitting she actually did curse Maya once when drunk out of jealousy. Maya forgives her friend, and Baofu says Joker is really no more than a persona, so they need to get her to more specialized help. Taking her to the Velvet Room, Igor uses his expertise to safely exorcise the Joker persona out of Ulala. He points out Joker is just the heart's darkness, and is never truly gone, just waiting until its host gives it the means to return. Ulala thanks Maya again and promises to repay the debt, but just then Maya gets a call from Anna who says the student Noriko suddenly became a Joker and was kidnapped. She says everyone who has been kidnapped is being held at the Zodiac Club, and Katsuya deduces she must have been the one behind the murder of the principal and the person who hit Anna. Wondering why new Jokers are being rounded up, they go to Club Zodiac where they see Anna is already there too and reveal she hangs out here often with Tatsuya. She mentions Tatsuya left saying something about atoning for his sins, and the club has been bought over by the Taiwanese mafia. In fact, there was a casino in the back, and both Baofu and Katsuya recognize the man with a scar overseeing things. He allows Baofu to step forward, who calls him out as the assassin Young Pao of Atian Dalian, but Young counters Baofu is the same as them and has killed more of his men back in Taiwan. Not denying it, Baofu asks directly about Tatsuzo's plans, and Young simply says he's cooperating with the police and new Japanese government to hunt their recent Joker problem. He also claims there are no kidnappees here except Noriko and surrenders her immediately, but Baofu senses a trap when she comes out, as Noriko attacks the group with an even bigger Joker persona. They manage to knock her out while Young gets away, and Katsuya finds this new light shed on Baofu all the more suspicious. Noriko is saved with the Velvet Room, but Katsuya receives an anonymous phone call saying to meet them in the park for information he seeks. As Katsuya agrees, they are met by an incognito man called Sneak, and he reveals the police, media, and several corporations all have roots in an organization called the New World Order. Katsuya threatens to raid the station and take down Captain Shimazu and Chief Togashi himself, but Sneak discourages that, pointing out that he couldn't by himself, and even if he could, those two are above the law and he would end up like his father, which Katsuya is shocked he mentions. Sneak then suggests finding hard evidence first and using it to exploit Tatsuzo, as he doesn't own all of the police and government. He's also not the only one investigating the NWO, and suggests trading information with them, handing him the profiles of two specific people. Ulala thinks to use a rumor to draw them out and meet them, and at Kuzunoha, Tamaki is fairly sure she's seen these two before. As Ulala and Baofu distract the media away from their meeting, the group manages to locate occult enthusiast Eriko Kirishima and wealthy heir to the Nanjo group Kei Nanjo. As Katsuya reveals what they know, Nanjo brings up Guy Shinjo, Tatsuzo's mysterious secretary, and says he may actually be a man named Kandori, former president of the Sebek Corporation and dead after the incident he caused. Elaborating, Nanjo adds that 4 years ago, he and some persona-using classmates, including Eriko, fought and defeated him and his plan to destroy the world. Eriko brings up she was looking into the connection of the suspicious Wanglong fortunes being told and the case when she ran into Nanjo and both of their leads connected to Tatsuzo. It's clear the New World Order needs the Jokers, and it seems likely the Wanglong readings are being used to spread rumors to change reality. Nanjo adds the kidnapped Jokers are being taken to a nearby lab that Shinjo frequents, and Eriko says Chizuru films a TV show later today, so they'll have to work together to check out both. The #1 man in Japan looks forward to being on the front lines just like old times, and his bodyguard Butler reminds the group to be discreet about Nanjo's actions, as they are independent of the Nanjo group. Talking to Eriko first, she mentions one of their old allies is currently a celebrity at the same TV station, so it will be easy to get in. Both veterans enjoy seeing their old classmates and persona users around town, as well as the Velvet Room, as when they arrive at the TV station, Eriko is warmly greeted by their egotistical but good-hearted old classmate Hidehiko, nicknamed Brad, who is now a popular talk show host. At the scene for reporting duty is also Yukino, who is glad to help out her friends again. Hidehiko confirms Chizuru's sudden rise in fame is manufactured, while Ulala points out an awfully suspicious cat observing their conversation this whole time. Hidehiko confirms it to belong to Chizuru as the group explores the station, running into the manager of the high school idol group Muses, managed by a strange and unlikable man named Ginji. Maya also meets another familiar member named Lisa, who has a crush on Tatsuya but never told him, and Jun's mother and popular actress, Junko. The group then enters Chizuru's dressing room only to find it empty except for the cat, and with a loud bellow the cat casts an entrapping illusion on all of them. Eriko recognizes the spell and knows the means to defeat it, though is giddy to experience it all firsthand. Beating the cat Shiki at its own game, the black cat replies it is surprised to see them succeed, but they're not out of danger in this mirror world yet. While getting help from Hidehiko in the real world, Eriko is chased by a crazed stalker of hers in the real world who has even broken into her house, now coming at her with a chainsaw and deadly traps. Though this leads to his ruin, Katsuya points out is likely an instance of the cat's illusion, as Eriko reveals the stalker was jealous she harbored an unrequited love of a certain boy with an earring she fought alongside 4 years ago. Ulala relates to her loss in love, but passion for fortune-telling, and as they move on, Naoya himself appears, only to brutally reject the model. As Eriko is stunned, both Baofu and Katsuya sense something wrong, and Katsuya quickly fires his gun to the side, striking the black cat in hiding. As the image of Naoya disappears, he explains both the stalker and Naoya with just Eriko's fears made real in this illusion. Cursing the group, the cat assumes a monstrous form but is quickly put down, freeing them from this mirror world. Outside, Chizuru's TV show continues airing as she feels when her cat is defeated but still makes the prediction even more Jokers will appear, and immediately Junko begins to turn. Just in time, Tatsuya appears to protect Lisa from Joker Junko, and Chizuru refers to him as the Paradox as the group arrives as well. Confronting the rest of the group, they take down the rumor monger but find this Chizuru was a decoy spell. After the battle, Tatsuya has once again vanished, but he subdued Junko, asking them to take her to the Velvet Room to be cleansed. Afterwards, they meet with Nanjo inside a sewage treatment plant specific for a hidden lab. He's very familiar with the security system behind it as it comes from his company, and Nanjo reveals his father financially supports Tatsuzo and has had this facility built with no questions asked. They need to split up to override security, but just then, Reiji Kido, former classmate and Persona ally, alongside Maki, step in to lend their aid, both of whom have a personal history with Kandori. In fact, the Nanjo group bought out the Sebic scientists and their research to team up with the government for continued development of projects like the Diva system Kandori made, even though they were unknowingly helping the NWO. Further in, they find Eikichi has been captured by security following the rumor that this facility is being used for human experimentation. The group saves him as he explains he was trying to rescue one of his kidnapped followers, Sugimoto, even though Sugimoto used the Joker curse on him, and Nanjo respects his strong feelings and allows him along. Finding the prisoners, Nanjo recognizes this demonification of when a person is taken over by a persona and hurries to rescue everyone he can, even though he is unsure if the experimentation can be reversed. Baofu discovers some more files of the experiments to separate Joker personas from their host as part of research to artificially create persona users led by Kandori. Nanjo sees rumors of his return have come true as Baofu steals the research files, and beyond, the group finds dozens of tubes, each containing Joker. Just then, the lights are turned on to the group as Kandori calls out Nanjo, and the group finds themselves trapped and Eikichi is captured. Nanjo demands to know how Kandori returned from the dead, and he replies he was summoned back through Kododama. Kandori then demands back the research in exchange for Eikichi's life, but despite Nanjo surrendering it, Kandori aims to kill Eikichi anyway. Just in time, Tatsuya arrives to block the shot, saves Eikichi, and corners Kandori. A firefight ensues as the group quickly escapes with the victims, while Tatsuya holds off Kandori, and the group is forced to put down a completely demonified Sugimoto. Fortunately, Nanjo manages to not kill him, much to Eikichi's relief, and Baofu reveals he got back the data. Returning to the hotel base, Nanjo sees it wrecked and his crew murdered. Eriko thinks it may be the NWO, but Ulala points out Sneak also pointed them this way too. Seeing this location is compromised, Baofu says they should use his hideout for now, and within, reads more of the research and learns the JSM is a Joker separation machine. The separated Jokers go into a tank known as the Kagare, which is made up of things like hatred and fear, though the purpose of which is unknown. More files prove they were tracking every call made about Jokers, so they knew where to be, and proves many like Captain Shimazu were in on it, in addition to another project about making some sort of unique robot by the military. Compiling what they learned so far, Katsuya summarizes that Chizuru would spread more rumors to make more Jokers, Young Pal's Mafia would hunt them down, be taken to Kandori for experimentation, and Shimazu would have the police cover it all up. Baofu points out they need more evidence connecting it to Tatsuzo directly, and they now hear at Smile Mall Genji is meeting with Chizuru as part of a seminar to cleanse those affected by Joker. Seeing their next lead, they sneak into the seminar, observing Genji sell the notion of simple salvation to anyone who touches Chizuru's blessed dragon statue, which the group recognizes as a JSM. As the negative energy is harvested out of dozens, the group thinks quickly to pull the fire alarm and get the crowd to leave, and in that window, rush in and shatter the Kagare tanks. Unexpectedly, all of the Kagare floods into Genji, turning him into a powerful Joker too, as the persona assumes an even more powerful form. After Genji is struck down, they are contacted by Sneak, who wishes to meet them again for a new lead, and though it's likely a trap, Katsuya feels compelled to learn more about his father from Sneak. Arriving, Sneak reveals himself to be Chief Togashi, and while the attack on their hotel base was likely the NWO, they never trusted him enough to inform him, so Togashi could not warn him. He then explains the NWO worships a godlike figure called Gozen. It's actually the mummified remains of Kiyotada Sumeru, the shogun ruler of this land during the Warring States era that was unearthed 20 years ago in the park and became the source of powerful curses. Some claim to be able to hear voices, and soon there was a plan to destroy the world outside Sumeru City and create a utopia, as to them, the entire world is a sin that must be met with a punishment. To accomplish this, they plan to use the Wanglong dragons, which are underground energy flows called ley lines, and have them destroy a huge quantity of Kagare energy. This violent clash of primal energy will cause countless natural disasters, including shifting the world's poles and knocking it off its axis, killing everything on it. In order to escape danger, the NWO plans to elevate the entire city with an ancient spaceship Torifune, which has been made real by rumor. He says their only hope now is to defeat Sudo and Gozen, but just then Shimazu catches Togashi's betrayal. He mocks Togashi for betraying his best friend 10 years ago too, who was Katsuya's father, who got too close to catching Tatsuya's pseudo, and so was forced to frame Katsuya's father for a crime he did not commit. Togashi admits this, knowing this day would come ever since Katsuya joined the force in an attempt to clear his father's name. He mentions Katsuya's father was also a proud man and accepted the false charges in order to protect his family and even Togashi despite his betrayal. Shimazu smirks, saying Togashi's actions actually helps the organization, as the publicity will help add credibility to rumors spread about the NWO. With this, Shimazu shoots down Togashi and quickly, the group comes out of hiding to back up Katsuya and confront Shimazu at gunpoint. However, Shimazu was prepared as well, surrounding the group with his own forces. Edging out a win, the group stands over a dying Shimazu who believes in his mission, and Togashi uses his dying breath to try and reveal the NWO hideout. With Baofu's wiretapping, they learn of a deal with Young Pao and Tatsuzo going down soon, while at the same time, Tatsuzo meets with the rest of the NWO executives, including General Sugawara of the Civil Defense Force. The general reveals their newest project, X1, is complete and ready for testing, while others express their concern about the actions of the Paradox despite Gozen saying to leave it alone. As the group arrives at the abandoned factory, they see Young Pao already there with his men, only for a weapon to surpass conventional machines to storm in and slaughter all of them. The military comes in to clean up and Young Pao escapes while the group follows, as Katsuya figures their enemy knew they were bugged and so laid this trap for all of them. Young Pao knows Tatsuzo betrayed him and is cornered by Baofu, and after they duel, Baofu emerges victorious and prepares to end his 5-year vendetta against the Mafia leader. Just then, Katsuya halts him, calling him by his real name of Kaoru Saga, former prosecutor of the Sumeru Special Investigation Unit, whose partner was murdered by Young Pao and his Mafia when they were investigating their connection to Minister Tatsuzo, who covered it all up and declared Kaoru dead as well. Baofu admits he was using the group to complete his vengeance, but Katsuya says they need Young Pao alive to testify against the minister. Just then, X1 barges in, shoots Young Pao, and is swiftly destroyed by the group. Using his dying breath to spite Tatsuzo, Young Pao tells them he plans to awaken the dragons, starting with the blue dragon in the undersea ruins, and which ship he's on. Taking one of Nanjo's cruisers, they hurry to catch up as the NWO is quickly moving to undo the seals. To the side, Chizuru asks Kandori why someone as strong as him is taking orders from Tatsuzo, suggesting he take out the old order and become the new leader himself. Kandori replies his interests lie with the group and Paradox Tatsuya, though doesn't reveal why, as suddenly an explosion rocks the boat and Kandori suspects the Paradox is here. As the group hurries to the cruise ship in flames, Kandori is one step ahead, lowering the submarine on board to escape and continue the mission. The group boards and shoots past many guards as Tatsuya creates more havoc, finding the conference room the NWO was using, and discover the ruin's location. Meanwhile, the military cannot hold back Tatsuya as he slices his way to Tatsuzo, telling him he's being manipulated into believing something wrong. As the group catches up, Tatsuzo recognizes their strength and invites them all to build a world without man's original sin together. The group refuses and is stalled by more X1 units as the minister escapes via helicopter and tries to sink the ship. Afterwards, Tatsuya angrily insists on doing things on his own, getting into one of the mech units and telling the rest of the group to enter the other submarine on board. Safely traveling to the undersea ruins, Tatsuya destroys Kandori's sub, but the group finds they are too late as Kandori has already broken this seal. He adds there are 11 more seals around the world, and they have all already been broken too. Tatsuzo and Gozen are headed to the spaceship Torifune as they speak, so in the meanwhile, Kandori looks forward to facing down Nanjo and Tatsuya, while Chizuru wishes for a rematch against Eriko in the group. Though the group wins, Kandori says fate cannot be broken that easily, and Tatsuya replies he won't allow what he knows to come to pass. As the group escapes, Kandori apologizes to Chizuru, but she confesses she was just happy to be with him till the end. Escaping in time from the collapsing ruins, when the group returns to shore, Katsuya demands more of an explanation from his brother, who keeps avoiding them. Turning, Tatsuya reveals he's not his little brother, at least not the one he's thinking of. Inviting him to Alaya Shrine, Maya suddenly has a memory flash of being trapped inside the burning shrine, while young Tatsuya was stabbed outside by Pseudo, and they were saved by their personas. Seeing her reaction, Tatsuya confirms she has memories of the other side inside of her, like him. Katsuya says this shrine never burned down, and Tatsuya says that is true for this world. Bringing them to the cave beyond the shrine, Tatsuya explains their unconscious memories lie here, warning them to follow him only if they can handle exposing their pasts. Beyond, Nanjo recalls the last day the old St. Hermelin group had together after graduation, where he was leaving to study abroad in England. Maki suggested they make a promise that if they each achieve their dream then they'll all meet again, and Nanjo agreed, repeating his goal of being the #1 man in the world someday. Shaking on it, Naoya agreed too as they all watched Nanjo leave, and afterwards, Naoya declared he was going away for a while for his own reasons. Eriko made a promise with him while saying she would become a successful model, and though she hid her feelings then, she actually wanted to be by his side the whole time. Nanjo reflects he has had to consider what being number one really means and perhaps lost his way at some point, but is now thankful for recentering his focus. Eriko admits she has also lost focus on being true to herself and resolves herself to be strong going forward. For Maya, Tatsuya helps remind her how both of them, as well as Yukino, Lisa, and Eikichi, all met at Seven Sisters High to investigate the Joker rumor said to make dreams come true and start with the principal's involvement. This of course differs from this side, where Maya was sent to investigate the Joker murders and the principal was one of the victims. Tatsuya spells out what they are seeing as a different reality from the one he is originally from, and while this body is from this side, the Tatsuya inhabiting it is from the other side. He shows her more of their battles, like against the Masked Circle, as they fought against their goal of fulfilling the Oracle of Maya and dooming humanity. However, the pseudo from this side was truly from this side, and was only being told and used about the other side in order to remind Maya as well. Understanding, Eriko and Nanjo both recall their friend Maki also once led them through a crisis of parallel worlds too. Tatsuya adds the mastermind behind all of this is the crawling chaos Nyarlathotep, who stands opposite Philemon and grows with darkness in people's hearts. Nanjo and Eriko recognize this name as well and thought it was just Kandori's persona. Finally, Tatsuya shows them when Philemon and Nyarlathotep reveal their experiment to determine if people's conflicted hearts can arise as something complete, and during this, Maya was fatally stabbed and whose death resulted in all of the world except for Sumeru destroyed. In the world of collective unconsciousness, strong beliefs become reality, and so they traded the last 10 years of memories and experience to reset the world from that point and avoid meeting, creating this alternate timeline as a second chance, the one they are in now. Everyone except for him did end up forgetting the other side, but as the paradox, he recalls that this reality exists because they all forget. Were they all to remember the other side, it's possible the distortion may end this side's existence, thus why it's important Maya and the others do not recall the other side, and why he's been fighting alone and avoiding her. Understanding, Maya thanks him with a big hug and the group accepts him, while Eriko and Nanjo both sense their work here is done. Resolved to walk their own path, they take their lead to continue helping out in the city with their old friends, and Tatsuya takes his place with the others. Directing them to the spaceship Torifune, they find the way there is through an underground subway tunnel. Finding one of the trains that NWO loaded with supplies, as they ride, Ulala questions why only Tatsuya naturally remembers the other side, but he's unable to answer. In reflection as the only high schooler among a group of adults, he asks how hard it is to be an adult, and Baofu simply replies it doesn't get easier. Arriving safely, they see the military has already secured the spaceship, as within, Tatsuzo prepares the final steps of his plan to cleanse the world. He leaves Torifune in the hands of General Sugawara, while moving to ascend to Utena with Gozen. As Tatsuya leads them inside, he tells them this spaceship was called Zabalba on the other side, and negative thoughts were made real, so stay positive while inside, or better yet, keep your mind clear. However, he is his own worst enemy, as his own heart conjures metallic manifestations of his friends from the other side, who lament how Tatsuya has forgotten his promises with them and warp him away. They place him on an altar before an illusion of Elia's shrine and move to execute him, but he stops the blade, saying he'll be glad to accept his punishment, but not right now. Forced to fight and defeat them, he apologizes to the group for his pride endangering them all, and says to Katsuya that him of this side also apologizes as well. Coming across more fallen soldiers in the control room, they learn the general was turned into a monster and killed everyone, and they turn to see the monstrosity lumber towards them. At the same time, a giant castle now rises from the middle of Sumeru, and along with it, the spaceship Torifune, carrying all of Sumeru City. Tatsuya says Tatsuzo still has to perform the dragon ritual, so there is still time, but not much. Working together to push the allegedly mortal general down a pit, they find they have no means of controlling the ship and so use one of Kandori's teleportation machines to escape to the surface. There, they hear from Jun's father that it was Kiyotada Sumeru who built the castle on top of the Torifune after a legend that gods arrived in it to give mankind civilization. Based on the principles of yin and yang, Kiyotada used Wanglong fortunes and rumors to conquer and rule. He was one day slain by a samurai mummified for his punishment, and that samurai's name was Tatsunoshin Suo, aided by Princess Maihime Amano and ninja Junosuke Kuroda. Entering Sumeru Castle, they are greeted by the statue of Joka, the one who opens the door to Utena, and are tasked to collect the 7 spirited words called Kododama in order to proceed. Within the castle, they find the mummy of Tatsunoshin Suo, who lends his aid as a persona in the fight to end Kiyotada once again. Revealing the way forward with the proper prayer, they find Tatsuzo standing in the middle of the freshly killed remainder of the Executive Council. Calling out his madness, the minister spits back that the only madness is society and the state of the world these days, pointing out that for as long as people continue to be selfish, they will suffer eternal punishment. Turning, he finishes the ceremony, calling upon Gozen with his massive offering of Kagare. Responding, a massive creature takes form from the energy, and the dragons around the world converge around Torifune, while Tatsuzo laughs in victory. But a pain suddenly seizes him as he pleads to Gozen while being transformed into a monster too. Facing down and defeating the ruinous foreign minister, they see the catastrophe is still ongoing, and so focused on the source of curses itself, Gozen. Consuming the corpses around it, the mummy awakens and attacks, as the group edges out a victory against the cursed conqueror. However, upon its defeat, a portal opens up overhead and begins to devour everything, including the dragons and Torifune itself. The next thing they know, they find themselves in the collective unconsciousness as Nyarlathotep in the form of Tatsuya steps out and welcomes them. He appears as dark versions of each of them, explaining he gains power from many sources, but mainly the anger, ignorance, and vengeance in people's hearts, insisting he is a true reflection of humanity. He then reveals a captured Jun, Eikichi, and Lisa, reminding them that if everyone in that group recalls the other side, then this side ends. He offers them one hostage for each shadow in this world they suppress, else they'll remember and this world will reset once again. Entering the Monado Mandala, they are each confronted again with their past, as Katsuya sees when he gave up his academic excellence and dream of becoming a patissier to pursue law and become a police officer to clear his father's name. His shadow version points out the regret he harbors and resentment he has towards his father and brother for sacrificing for their benefit his whole life. Katsuya struggles to firmly deny it, as the shadow even exposes his growing feelings for Maya and declares Tatsuya is in the way. Katsuya wrestles with himself and fires on his shadow, admitting there were times he detested Tatsuya, but at all times he still loves his little brother. Later, Ulala is called out on her constant habit of shameless complaining, drunkenness, and self-pitying jealousy when it comes to relationship. She knows that about herself and admits she wasted time trying to find herself when she should have been working to make herself instead, tired of riding backseat in her own life. Smirking, both Shadow Katsuya and Shadow Ulala challenge the group for the fate of Eikichi, and the group wins, freeing Eikichi without any memories of the other side. Philemon appears to return him to the real world safely, and says moving on is the best thing right now. Next, Baofu sees a reverse Odysseus killing his partner Miki again after pulling her up from a grave. Taunting him, it bashes her to death before his eyes, inciting Baofu's rage again, but he drops down and knows deep down the one person he was never able to forgive for her death was himself. He accepts responsibility for getting her killed, but Katsuya punches him, telling him to stop living in the past, stop looking down on himself, and start over if he needs to. Ulala consoles him, and he thanks them all in his own antisocial way. Beyond, Nyarlathotep appears before them as Tatsuya again, mocking Maya and saying the young man who holds her heart is actually his, but she refuses to play into his hand. As a result, the group fights both Shadow Maya and Shadow Baofu to rescue Lisa, who was safely taken away by Philemon. The group then surrounds Nyarlathotep, who shows them Jun in his grasp, and eagerly shows them more of Tatsuya's hidden truth from the other side, showing when Maya was killed and he won in the struggle against the darkness in humanity's hearts. Philemon then told them about the chance to reset the last 10 years in exchange for their memories, which they took. Then, Tatsuya saw Philemon had adopted his face in this realm, just like Nyarlathotep now, and Tatsuya made a promise with all his friends to make a better world this time round, and promised to meet them again someday. While everyone else accepted the bargain, Tatsuya is the only one who rejected it at the last second, refusing to forget everything. Laughing, Nyarlathotep points out why Tatsuya feels so guilty is because the main reason the world is on the brink of destruction is him. Tatsuya broke the promise to his friends and compromised the deal to give the world a second chance at the cost of their memories. His selfishness caused the distortion, fracturing the boundary between both worlds, and is why he never fully melded with the him of this side. For the sin of being the only person to break the deal, even though all his friends paid the price, Nyarlathotep twisted events for them all to meet again anyway as his punishment. Forcing him to witness the results of his choice and bear the guilt by himself, Tatsuya's memories returned when he met Maya again at the train station, and since then has hid away. The group moves to defend Tatsuya anyway, and the Crawling Chaos laughs, ready to take on a new team trying to reject him. Pushing Nyarlathotep to the point of forcing him to assume an even more powerful form, Maya, Ulala, Katsuya, Baofu, and Tatsuya edge out a victory against the dark mirror of humanity. Philemon now appears, June in hand, to tell Nyarlathotep to take the loss for now, as indeed humans can never truly exist without their shadows. Not taking any chances this time, they beat down Dark Tatsuya one more time for good measure, but Tatsuya says there is still one more threat to the world, himself. As long as he stays here as the Paradox, this world will eventually be engulfed by the other side. Figuring out what he means, Maya tries to stop him, but thanking her, Tatsuya knocks her out, thanking everyone else as well. As he prepares to return to the other side by separating from this side's body, the group wishes him well, and he blinks away. As the game ends, Sumeru City begins its recovery, though many would never know the truth of what really happened. Maya returns to her job as a reporter again, focusing on staying positive. Baofu drops his online identity and tells Miki he is ready to be Kaoru again, telling her he's starting a search agency for missing people with his new partner, Ulala, who tells Miki she'll take good care of him. Nanjo and Eriko thank Tatsuya for helping them go on with their lives and recognize the effort and sacrifice made by the group of the other side to give this side a chance to live. Making good on one promise, the St. Hermelin alumni meetup begins as Maki, Yukino, Hidehiko, and Reiji arrive and catch up as they recognize each other's success and celebrate Reiji's engagement. Though Masao and Iyase cannot make it, Maki and Eriko are delighted to see one more guest arrive at the reunion as they both greet Naoya together. At Elias Shrine, Ikichi, Jun, and Lisa find themselves wandering there, all with a strange feeling of sadness like they left something behind. Meanwhile, Katsuya talks to his real brother Tatsuya, as the two brothers begin to make true amends, and Tatsuya begins to express interest in becoming a detective too. As Philemon passes by, Maya sees Tatsuya on his bike and pauses, but is strong of heart now to walk tall on her own, let go of the past, and move on with her life. Persona 2 Eternal Punishment has enjoyed the success of selling over 400,000 copies worldwide.